Hey, everybody. We're just getting started. We're going to be going here in a couple minutes, but I wanted to be able to make sure that everything was going to be working well for us all. Perfect. 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 Awesome. We love it. We love it. So, good morning. We're going to be talking about metabolic health in a lot of different ways. We should have a lot of evidence to share with you in terms of stories, in terms of real people and real life. And after all, that's what you want to know, is that will something really work? And does it work? And how does it work? Because 93% on a very easy study are suffering from some kind of metabolic health issue. 80% don't even know that they're actually suffering from these kinds of issues. And so we want to make sure that we get into and start looking at the issues. And so we're going to ask several questions. And as people come on, we're going to be looking at what have we found? What is there? What's going on? And so we're going to ask if there's an issue. Is there really a metabolic issue in the world? And it's global. And so we're going to talk about that kind of thing because it's a major topic of conversation. Now, in the old days, and I'm old, but in the old days, what they would say when people that were over 50, 60, 70, 80 would get together, the joke was, what would you call a group of those kinds of people? Well, you'd call it an organ recital. But now, golly bump, start listening to go to a soccer match with kids, grandkids, and you start listening to people talking, and you start listening to what they're saying, and you'll start seeing that there's issues. People talk about it all the time. If you were just at an event like a family event, how many people, when you were looking at them around, were complaining about brain fog or their joints or not sleeping at night or being fatigued or other kinds of things? How many people did you see that look like they've gotten a little bit bigger in their personality since the last year? Can we say it like that? Can we say that maybe they have a gravity challenge? Maybe they're bound to the earth a little bit more than they wanted to be, or maybe they're instead of wearing jeans with a belt, they're wearing pajama bottoms or sweatpants with that they're sweating at, with the tie loops, the loops inside of that. Maybe what else could there be going on? All kinds of things could be going on, isn't there? So we're going to look at that type of thing, kids. And we're looking at metabolic health. And so the real question would be, would you agree that there's a metabolic problem in America? And most people would say, yeah. I mean, all you have to do is look at a playground. Look at the kids. Look at the kids in the playground. Are they a little bit bigger than what you remembered you and your friends were? Yeah, they are. They're getting bigger. Go to the major supermarket and look at all the people that cannot walk through the store. They've got to get a buggy ride. And then what do they fill up their carts with? God love them. Processed foods, chips. They've learned how to put sodas around the edge of the cart. Think about that. All around the cart, and then underneath, then that's where they put the cans, boxes of cans, because it's 3 for $10 or whatever the sale is. So they're stockpiling all of that high fructose corn syrup. And if you look at the things, the boxes and the bags you guys put in your cart, and you start looking at the ingredients, you're going to see that you have high starches. You have omega-6 oils, seed oils. sugar in 3 or 4 or 5 different forms, and salt. Those combinations, along with being bioengineered, what that means is that they have figured out how to trick your mind, how to bypass your mind so you're not full and you will eat and eat and eat. It's an addiction. It's an addictive to you. And so how many times have you ever gone and said, hey, I'm just going to take a little nibble out of the ice cream container. And you just take a little spoon and a little nibby. And then you take another little nibby. And then you take another little nibby. And then pretty soon you're looking at, I wonder if there's another container. Did you know, like even on those curls, those orange things, and that are covered with cheese, as it were, did you know that they already know how fast it's going to be on your tongue before it digests enough so that it'll bypass your brain, that you didn't even eat it? It bypasses the systems. And how do you think about this? If we were at a grocery store or at a convenience store the other day, you know those little small bags, those little small bags of chips and things that they've got? Andrew, do you know how many servings are in one of the smallest bags of those orange things about the size of your finger? That little bag? There are 3 servings. There are 3 servings in that bag. When was the first time or the last time you ever saw anybody take 2 or 3 of those out and then fold the bag up? Because I've had my serving. It doesn't happen.
No.
And then look, those big barrels of those cheese balls. They call them cheese balls, right? But they're just whatever processed food with orange goop on it. I mean, have you ever just seen someone take 1 nibble, 2 nibbles? No, it's more like a handful. And then, well, I'm going to put them away. I'll just have 1 more. And by the time they put them away, they're what? The jar's down about 6 inches, 8 inches. And they're not full because they're reaching for their what? Their power drink. And that was just after they had the donut or the candy bar. Guys, we are actually been trained and are tricking ourselves into this whole thing of food. And so our food isn't the same. And it's like this. In the history of food, we start looking at the addictive nature of it and what has happened. So back in the day, it started with tobacco as an addictive, right? Well, let's just back up. Let me just prove my point. If you go back, Andrea, and look at pictures of your grandparents, maybe even your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, were they better at counting calories than we are? Were they better at counting carbs? Did they go better to the gym than we do?
They didn't know anything about it.
They didn't know anything about that. And what was their body type?
Yeah.
Was there diabetes? Not really. I thought that was genetic. It's food related, right?
Yeah.
So you start looking at that. Now, they were addicted, and a lot of people were addicted to what? Well, tobacco. Tobacco is a thing. And tobacco is great at being addictive. Now, those companies also used research and science and found that sugar was addictive. And they proved that with lab animals. They got them addicted to a street drug. Then they put sugar water in the kit, and they became addicted to the sugar water. Guess what the tobacco companies did? They aspirated the tobacco leaves, and that 20% by volume became into the cigarettes. Now, fast forward, I just want to jump on this, just the whole thing on what these guys did with science is eventually what a lot of people don't know is that those same companies ended up buying and owning all the food companies. They bought and owned all the food companies, and applying that science of addictive knowledge and all the other types of things helped re-engineer the foods Now, they eventually sold out of all those companies. But think about it. We're just going to look at the historically. Now, if you go back, and now what happened after that was going on, they removed the fiber from our food. Fiber was pulled out for several reasons. One of the things that it increased shelf life. And we needed shelf life to get food to the military theaters. So the food needed to last longer. But have they ever put it back in? No. Why? Because it's cheaper to put other stuff in. Now, so we took the food out, or took the fiber out. Now what happens with the next thing that happened? Well, they learned how to do hydrolyzation. Hydrolyzation is taking an oil and making it a solid. The easiest thing that people know is peanut butter. If you have peanut butter in your pantry, go look at it. It's been hydrolyzed. Now, that's neither good nor bad. It's just a process. But if you make your own nut butter, what happens? Real peanut butter, real nut butter separate. The oil and the solid separate. Hydrolyzation makes it a solid. Well, there was two guys named Procter and Gamble in Cincinnati. And what happened with those guys is one was a candlestick maker and one was a soap maker. And back in the day, they used animal products as part of the main ingredients to make those products. Well, hydrolyzation comes along, and there was this toxic oil, which is cottonseed oil. It was considered a toxic byproduct. What happened is that in the need for more raw materials, they said, hey, if we do this, what happens? And it's solidified cottonseed oil. And you know what else they did? They go, hey, it's digestible. And guess what that became? Crisco. Now you have a long shelf life with this digestible, but to make it more marketable, the American Heart Association, after receiving $1.7 million, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but they got $1.7 million, which is equivalent to about $30 to $40 million today. The American Heart Association said Crisco is heart healthy. Now we have two shelf life changes, right? We took the fiber out to increase shelf life. Now we have this oil that's engineered to have a longer shelf life and demonizing what? Lard, fat, butter. How many of you have ever heard that fat makes you fat? Poppycock. But it was a marketing thing to make that go. Now, the other thing is that at the same time, all these guys are all doing this stuff around the same time. There's this guy by the name, his last name's Kellogg. Now, he was a minister, and he was also a money physician. He also owned a company. And he wanted to make it marketing better. And what did he come up with? The slogan that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Now, that is not necessarily not true. Breaking your fast is important. What you break it with is more important. And a bowl of grains and a juice. Oh, and did you know, Andrea, that at the same time they start promoting that cereal, bowl of cereal, they said, hey, bananas are healthy too. And now they are. That's a source of potassium, right? I mean, and they even had coupons in the cereal to give you money off to buy bananas. Well, now you've got grain spiking your insulin, right? You've got bananas spiking. And then Dole comes out with the idea, hey, let's jump on the bandwagon. You should have orange juice too. What did you just do? And now our kids go to school. Think about this, and they get wheat toast. They're going to go up and they're going to crash. And when they crash, they are now what? Well, they're lazy. They're ADHD. They're hyperactive. They're diagnosed with this, that, and the other. Well, you just fed them the stuff to make them crash. Their body is just reaction to what you did to them. And that's how we go. So just real quickly, that's just some of the issues that have got us into this mess. So what we're really facing, kids, is the issue this. is that we are locked in a circle with this big farm, because the pharmacy is just waiting for your food. The pharmacy guys are just waiting for your food to kick in to create the issues. That's what's really happening. Because what happens is as we eat this modern diet, we get to look like this. Now, this is where it used to be called Mr. Belly So Big. And the wonderful thing, this is not my skeleton, but you can imagine it. Guys, if you got a body like this, there's something going on the inside. Do you think there might be some physical stress going on? We all got the same skeleton. We all have the same hormones. We all have the same systems. But our modern food environment creates issues like this. And this is where I'm at now in the protocol. I'm down to a 28-inch waist. So anyway. But this is where we're involved in what I call diet whack-a-mole. Have you been in any of these? Sure. And just bobbing her head up and down. I call it diet whack-a-mole. Golly, bum. In 2010, I was the major juicer. I think I sold more juice machines than anybody in the world. There was a movie called Fat, Sick, and Nearly. And I think in my lifetime, I was fat. That was 2010. And then in 2019, I was nearly. And 2024, I got to the nearly dead part. But I've been on most of these and more. Different kinds of diets, trying to figure it out. It's diet whack-a-mole. Well, let's try this, let's try that. Well, what happens, guys, is this. We try, we look, we try. But hungry always wins. It always wins. You always fail. It's designed to make you fail. And one of the issues that we have, and I'm sure that, maybe I'm the only one, Andrea, that ever thinks short term. Probably the only one, right? You get an idea and it flashes and fails. And the easiest one to say is New Year's. Your New Year's resolution. I am going to, by golly, Joe, Jimmy, I'm going to do this year, right? I'm gonna, and you do that on the first, and it lasts till what? Second? Third? 2 days, 3 days? Exactly. Or then the next thing that destroys it is that you go, Americans are really good at this one. We're all or nothing. It's all low carb. It's all no fat. It's all vegetable. It's all whole food. It's all only carnivore. It's all only keto. It's all only. And what happens is hungry always wins. Mentally, it's destructive because once you say this and no to that, your mind says, no, I want that. I want it. And it always wins. So then you become a closet eater. You nibble, and you have a little guilt, and you never get to recover from that. And so that fails. Or then you think, I can do it all on my own. And someone sees you carrying around little boxes of foods or this or that or the other, and they start ridiculing you. Maybe no one's ever teased you or made you feel guilty, but they put you in a box so they don't want you to get out of the box that they're in. They want you just like them. What makes you special? Why do you think you can? And it becomes a lonely thing. So then, now there's almost a gym on every fifth block. Exercise conquers it all. But guys, you can't out-exercise a poor diet. You can't out-treadmill all the smoothies and all of the carbs. You can't out-exercise it. And then, just like Andrea says, you start throwing in stress, poor sleep habits, hormones get out of whack because of other things, and then pills and magic shots and potions and lotions, nothing works that way. So what happens is that we end up having all kinds of symptoms. Things are telling us our body's out of whack because of our environment. It gives us warning signs. It gives us warning symptoms that says, hey, we're failing on the inside. We're showing you on the outside. We're failing on the inside. Hey, you might want to pay attention. And some of us don't. Some of us do, but try, and now we don't know what to do. Some of us go and try to get help, and we get, move more, exercise, move more, and eat less. Or, what kind of help do we get? We get advice from people that don't know anything but what we do. Dr. Google is as good as anything. But we go back to the system that helps us to fail. We're going to go all or nothing. We're going to do this. We make a resolution to do that. We set ourselves up for failure. And then what happens is we start showing all these different symptoms, like this dandelion. Now there's a symptom there. You got some skin tags. You got some high blood pressure. You've got hair falling out. You got skin acne. Maybe you're getting type 2. Maybe you have sarcopenia. Maybe you have PCOS. Maybe you have ED. Maybe you have high blood pressure. And if you don't do anything, the wind comes along and it spreads. It gets worse. And until we get to the root cause of what causes all this, we're never going to get to change anything. We never get to change anything. So guys, if you have any of these kinds of symptoms, you're always hungry, you have a hard time losing weight, cravings for sugar and salt, headaches, migraines, inflammations, energy, these guys are warning signs of what we call insulin resistance. Now, here's the thing. Words matter. I get that. But words matter. When you hear the word insulin, a majority of people, when they hear the word, shut themselves out to the conversation because they are not diabetic yet. Insulin resistance is what the root cause is. If we call it just resistance, you say, oh, okay, what's that? But because you hear the word insulin, you automatically think, well, that's just for those people. Remember the symptoms we just talked about? Being hungry, skin tags, back acne, hair falling out, brain fog, migraines, candida, gut issues, belly fat, poor digestive issues, inflammation, gout, brain fog. Guys, those are all signs of this metabolic issue. And they're going to find out about that, just like she said. If you go want to do research, you think I'm goofy, then go read the book. Look at Metabolical, Dr. Lustwig. Look at Diabetes Code, Jason Fung. Look at Why We're Sick, Dr. Benjamin Bickman. Look at those references. So we're talking about real things. Did you know that Alzheimer's is considered type 3 diabetes? Did you know that 13% of all Alzheimer's is now misdiagnosed from a liver disease that is caused and created and encouraged, if you will, because of insulin resistance? Did you know that they have proven in clinical studies just recently released in the last 60 days that vigorous lifestyle intervention can reverse Alzheimer's? Think about that. And with the assistance of the protocol we have, which helps allow this to work, guys, this is life-changing and life-saving. That's why we're so passionate about what we do. That's why we're passionate about this. So I'm going to help you understand, give you some free advice. Okay? Not going to make a dime off of this. Some people are, you're going to. I don't care. I want to try to help you. So you want some free? Here it is. Now, I coined this phrase, and some people think it's off kilter, but I just use the letters, and it's F off. Fast order of food, which is fiber, fat, and protein. Now, protein is a P, but I'm Filipino, and you don't say Filipino, you say Filipino. So it's an F. So fasting. Now, where do we fast? Well, you just wake up. So you were sleeping all night, unless you're one of those people that goes to marauders the pantry and the refrigerator and have a Dagwood sandwich or something like that. You've been sleeping. And the whole time you're sleeping, Lord, you were giving your body a chance to have a break. And you weren't putting stuff down your gullet. Now, when you get up, your body is maybe finally recovered enough that like it's starting to burn its fat. You were using ketones, which is a process of burning energy, burning fat, which your brain needs. Everybody, your body needs it. It's great. So it's not that we don't want you to eat. We just want you to break your fast later. And what will make it work is if you use a little help in a modern food environment. And this little help is a tea. You just drink a tea. You already probably drink a coffee. You just drink a tea. And what it does is it helps lower that hangry. It satiates. It keeps us moving smoothly through the morning. We're going to eat, but we're generally going to eat when we're hungry, which is going to be maybe noon, 11, 12, 1, 3. Sometimes I have to remind myself to eat. All right? So we're fasting. And while we're fasting, we're drinking a tea. Pretty simple. We're drinking a drink. Now, when we eat our first meal, whenever that is, and we break our fast, now we want to concentrate on fiber and fats and proteins because they are lower on spiking our glucose, spiking our insulin. It will move up, but not like having toast and juice and a smoothie. Think about it for half a second. The higher the carbs, the higher the spike. That's why I say if you're going to have them later in the meal. And you'll have them later in the meal, you'll be fuller. You won't eat as much because you're going to be already full because the other stuff is going to be satisfying. It's going to be filling the space. You're slowing down the desire to have those higher carbs. Now in the afternoon, after that meal, you're going to have another one of the teas. And now you're reaching for the power drink, quote power drink, which is chemicals and all kinds of other galarkey that you don't want to talk about because I will make you literally vomit if I tell you how those things are made. And so now you get to your next meal, your biggest meal of the day, and now you're going to have this fiber. It's a fiber matrix. Now, remember way at the beginning, about 20 minutes ago, I talked about they took the fiber out. We are going to purposefully put the fiber back in because your gut needs it. God made all plants that we eat wrapped in fiber. Man took the fiber out for profit. So we are going to help do what was originally intended for you to have your fiber. And you're going to have your fiber first. You have your fiber before you eat your meal. Now, I had pizza the other day. I had a fiber before. I didn't feel bad that I was eating pizza. I knew I was doing it. I mean, Andrea, this young girl, just turned like 49 or something the other day, and she had cherry pie for breakfast. She broke her fast with cherry pie. Now, not the whole pie. She only had half, but she had fiber first.
I said I was going for it, George. It was my birthday, and I'm like, this sounds so good. So I did.
It does, and it was perfect. I thought you were going to say it a Bavarian cream or something like that, but cherry pie is way better because there's fiber in the cherry, so I'm all good with that. But the whole idea, guys, is that we purposely do this. So we're not controlling ourselves while we're weighing our food or measuring it out or counting this or counting that. We can go to a barbecue and enjoy with everybody. You know, we understand things that make sense and don't make sense. But for something like that, we're going to have our balance before. That's our fiber. We've already pulled that together. That helps satiate it. That's why we can do this, because it really works. Now, I've given you some science. We're going to talk about scientific fact. We've got some historical fact. And this is where we can talk about this legitimately, because these universities, these clinics have done the research and published it for us. And so for a reference, you can go look up any of our products. We have 18 products, and you can find them in the PDR, the Physician's Desk Reference. Now, my dad was a doctor. It used to be on his desk. Now, it's a PDR.net. It's a prescriber's digital reference. But in this text, you can find every medication known to mankind. And my double dog dare to everybody is look up any medication you're on in there. I double dog dare you to. And when you go in, you will see eventually on some of these that there's a box warning, BOX warning. I refer to it as the black box warning because if you read it, the medication you're on could put you literally in the black box. But I double dog dare you to look those up. Now, ours is in there, and it's 100% natural. There's no counteractions. There's nothing negative in there. You can take our protocol with any medication. Children can take it. Nursing mothers can take it. And then, remember I said that there was a study? Well, in 1991, the Cleveland Clinic, these guys right here, the number one hospital in the world, in 1991, with our balance, remember to talk about the fiber, that's what we call balance, said that such a product, referring to at that time was BioLife, now it's called Balance, such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis. Guys, that's population basis means everybody. If everybody could be on this, potentially decrease the need or the dose of lipid-lowering prescription drugs. Think about that for a second. How many people do you know that are on a heart statin? How many people do you know that are on medication for blood pressure? Could potentially decrease the need and or dose for it. Now, who doesn't want you to know that? Who doesn't want you to know that? And this has been around public knowledge since 1991. In this PDR, our protocol is in there, and we have the only substance, our balance is the only natural replacement for statins. And it's backed right there. Jumping forward, just for giggles, we said, hey, let's spike somebody's blood sugar. Let's just see what we can do. And this is doing a counter study of metformin. Now, we're on Facebook, so I can say these things, right? So we can, this is to say, well, what's the result of if we do this versus metformin, which is the number one prescribed medication for blood glucose in the world. So we took, and this was university, bringing me on, BYU did this one. Yeah, BYU. And they said, okay, great. Let's give people a traditional American breakfast, sort of traditional. Let's give them 2 Eggo waffles, 2 tablespoons of syrup, and a glass of orange juice. Let's give them 89 carbs with 51 grams of sugar. Let's just spike the heck out of it. So you can see this is what it looks like without. This is what it looks like with us. It lowers blood glucose by 43%. Metformin on its day, best day, and again, this is provable in the PDR, is 30%. Would you rather take chemicals to try to solve something, or would you rather use food? I don't know. I choose natural. And this is, some people, this is a whole lot of people are trying to lose weight. And we talked about fasting and make fasting easier. This is when Andrea held up the tea. That's this tea, which is a chlorogenic acid tea out of the yerba mate. Our yerba mate are hand-picked leaves with a patented process that creates an extract that is 375% stronger than just yerba mate. And each batch is clinically tested by NSF standards for mold, mildew, toxic carcinogens, and that type of stuff. Guys, it will raise your natural GLP-1 by 60%. I'm just going to leave it that way, because if you wanted to lose weight and you want to do it naturally, this is the aid. You won't need to do those other things that people are buying and thriving to do. So really fast fats, proteins, fiber versus carbs. There you go. So we're going to kind of work to kind of wrap this up. We have 5 patents on the product protocol. There are clinical studies. There's over 20 of them. We've got them. We've got them. The research is there. People can say they've had research. Ours is clinically done and provable and published. It's safe and natural. We explained that in the PDR. We've gone through universities, like the University of Sydney is the home of the glycemic index. They first proved the efficiency, the efficacy of our products, that it will lower naturally 20 to 28%. Through the study at BYU, we showed that's 43%. It doesn't really matter. It works. It works. It's guaranteed. 90 days. When was the last time somebody guaranteed you that you will be better? You can improve your health. You can improve your physical abilities, your physical structure in 90 days, or your money back. Provable. If you follow this protocol, it's provable with your own blood work. I double dog dare you to do that. 90 days. You will see results in 7 days. You'll start seeing results in 7 days. 90 days. In 107 days, guys, I lowered my blood glucose from 834, which is clinical severe, an A1C of 18.1, to 90 fasting blood glucose with a 7.2. And when we say it's cost neutral, what we mean by this, guys, is that, remember originally when we started, we said, hey, people are spending probably easy $10 a day on snacks, chips, drinks. And the reason most people don't realize how much they spend is because most people do it on their what? Debit card, credit card. They aren't spending cash. If you had to dole out dollars and cents for all of those chips, for all those candy bars, for all those power drinks, right? For all those other snacks, for all those Fubo Lupa coffees. If you actually started putting out actual cash, you would feel the pain of the money leaving you. But because it's digital, you don't think about it. This is cost neutral. You will actually save money being on this protocol. We're worldwide, we're global. And you can see this is our history. In 1991 was when the study was done at the Cleveland Clinic. You can see that we have a long history, a provable history of research. We own our own product. We own our own manufacturing. We own our own distribution. We own all our patents. You cannot get this other than retail at Amazon, and you're going to spend $70 to $80 more. The only way you can get this system to feel great is to get a hold of Andrea or get a hold of me or someone that shows you the system, and you'll be able to see and realize the ability to increase your natural GLP-1, curb your appetite 60%. You'll be able to experience the wonderfulness of patented fibers. You'll be able to experience the glucose changes. You're going to be able to experience community. You're going to be able to see that all you have to do is drink 2 teas, and you're drinking 3 drinks a day, and eat 2 meals. What could be simpler in our modern day food environment, and not have to count calories, not have to count carbs, not have to weigh your food out or anything else like that? So what happens is that this targets the root cause of insulin resistance directly. It reverses the cause, not the symptoms. Many of those dandelions, all those pills that people take, are just what? Well, if you know someone that's on high blood pressure, that's the easy one to talk about. Do they ever get off that med? Ever. They only get what? More and larger doses and more. It's forever. If you know someone that's a type 2 diabetic, do they ever get off of it? No. They never get off of it. We're going to reverse that. How great would that be? Guys, if you're on any of those medications, how awesome would that be if you were able to? We've got a friend that went from 28 or 24 medications down to 4. Saved so much money in co-pays that he was able to buy a truck. And he's down 100 some pounds now, and I think it's been a year. But he's a great, his story is true. We can show him to you. But the one thing is that here's how you feel. Right now, if you're on meds, they've told you that you are broken. You get to take this forever. You have high blood pressure. You have PCOS. You have ED. You have type 2 diabetes. You have. And what you have is what you are. And I hate being told I'm diabetic because I am not, by gum, because I don't have these symptoms anymore. I don't need the meds. I fought having the meds to start. I found the protocol. I feel great. My body has restored its function. I have confidence, not dependency. So this makes it lifestyle easy. The changes are necessary. You have to make some changes. But how hard is it to maybe skip that first meal and make it later? You don't know yet, but I'm telling you it is. How hard is it to not to have, how great would it be not to have to buy all those other drinks? How nice would it be not to be always looking for the next meal, for the next snack, for the next. How nice would it be not to feel addicted to all those sodas? I know 3 people that used to drink 12 to 18 cans a day. That now don't at all. The protocol has said, hey, I don't need that. I don't want that. So here's the advantage, and this is why it works. Guys, it's natural. End of story. Effective. We've proven to you social proof, personal proof, scientific proof. It goes to the root cause, not just sprinkle fairy dust over symptoms. Think about this. You are a profit center to the pharmaceutical world. They are addicted to you. They need you to stay sick. The food companies want you to be addicted and keep buying and eating their stuff. So they've engineered it so you'll do that to trick your mind, so you need to have to buy it. How many times do you go and just grab this bag of that or this because you're impulsing? Because you know why? Your body's saying, I want it. Have you ever been to a store and, Mommy, I want. Now, sometimes mom can say no, but what can't you do? You can't say no to yourself. And it ends up in your cart. And it may be gone by the time you get home because you didn't want anybody else in the house to know that you bought this bag of whatevers. So we get to the root cause, both mental and physical. The protocol causes and helps support real change. It's adaptable. If you eat this way, I mean, our good friend Rav is Indian, and he eats carbs with every meal. And I mean, a lot of carbs. And his physique is there. His diabetes is gone. His family, all the way to his grandmother, are all on the protocol, have no issues. Everybody else in the family, he'll tell you that didn't follow this, that are older, are gone. It is simple. It works. It adapts to your lifestyle, gets to the root cause. It's natural. Guys, if you'd like to learn more, get a hold of Andrea. She's my buddy. She's my friend. She's a mentor. She knows her stuff. I'm just a 70-year-old that likes to gab and try to educate people with some humor. And I'm passionate about this because it has literally saved my life. I've seen stories improve it with others. I thank you for coming on and listening. Andrea, I hope you have a great afternoon with your meetings. I look forward to chatting with you later. Anything you want to add?
Well, just thank you. You know, you're a gift because you're sharing your story, and you did what it took. You said, hey, I know there's a better way. You were willing to pivot from what you were doing, and you gave it a chance. You gave it a try. You took a risk. I mean, really, you took a risk. And your risk is being a light to so many other people and a light to me. You know, it's giving us hope to say, hey, we can age and age well. I mean, you're 73 and you're doing this. And, you know, how much hope. So say there's somebody that's, you know, I think of, anyway, family member, even somebody that's on a walker, somebody that's struggling. You know, our friend Sue, they were going to put her in a nursing home. She was headed that way, guys. She got on the protocol. Everything changed. So don't give up. Take the risk. Invest in yourself. Give yourself a chance. Look at these photos, guys. You know, we've got tons. This is our friend John and Jimmy. I mean, Lauren, just, I want to encourage you. Listen to what George has to say. Take the risk. Give us 90 days. If it doesn't work, we will give you the link to get your money back. We'll give you the phone number. But what if it does work? What if you could be unrecognizable in 90 days? Look at these pictures. Lupus gone. Lyme's disease gone. I mean, guys, it's unbelievable how your body's just waiting to respond in a positive way versus trying to fight to protect itself. So I just encourage you. That was me. And that's not the most recent that I have, but gosh, guys, there's my the jaws, the jaw. I'm like, oh, and you know what, George? Sometimes you don't realize how bad you look and feel until you start feeling good again. And so we know we're changing lives. It's making a difference. George has a link. I have a link. Join us. What do you have to lose? We're here to support you, help you. And we know it works.
Andrea, have a great afternoon.
Thank you, sweetie. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.